I don't think our nervous systems were built for living in such a rush, with this constant pressure to perform, respond, and chase something that's always out of reach, instead of anchoring ourselves in the present moment, cultivating a kind of happiness that comes deeply from within. I think it's time we stop spending so much time worrying about where we're going next and begin allowing ourselves to simply just exist. The past 6 months have cracked me open in ways I never knew were possible. I reached the bottom and was challenged in the most profound ways, which made something shift inside of me. I've come back to myself more than ever before to see the beauty in the mundane and to trust that the direction my heart and intuition pull me in is the right direction. I've realized the hamster wheel is an illusion and that nothing sets the pace but the hamster itself. This means you can step off at any time to slow down and come back to your senses, and that there's always another chance to start living in a way that honors your nervous system and your cyclical way of being. Hello love, I am Astrid, a content creator and student of herbalism and hormonal health from Copenhagen, and in this safe corner of the internet we talk everything slow, sustainable, and cyclical living, all about healing our nervous systems and reconnecting with our hormonal rhythms and just living a life aligned with our values. So if this speaks to you and if you end up falling in love with this video, I hope that you will stick around and subscribe. Maybe come say hello over on my Instagram too, where I share a bunch of tools for you to reconnect with yourself and nature as well. Let's start with something that I take every single day, which is functional mushrooms. I cannot express enough as a student of hormonal health and herbalism, and also just from personal experience, how powerful functional mushrooms have been for me on my healing journey and how supportive they are of my nervous system. And I am so honored to partner with Mind Studio, whose mushroom extracts are up to double as potent as regular ones. They are ethically and sustainably harvested, and they are lab tested for absolutely everything so that you can be sure you are not getting any pesticides or heavy metals, which is often found in mushrooms. You're only getting the good organic stuff in a way that your body is able to fully absorb. I feel like these products are something that, like, if you know, you know. If you try them, you'll get what I mean. They are amazing, and if you feel like trying them out, I will leave a link in the description for 15% off everything from Mind Studio. With that said, while functional mushrooms are incredibly nourishing, obviously healing our nervous systems and living in tune with our bodies is about the bigger picture around our whole way of living. Everybody is unique, and healing your nervous system is about diving really deep into how you live, how you feel, how your body works, and really truly honoring every single phase of your life that you're in. But if you're looking for plant allies, I'm just saying, these have been such game changers for me, and I'll link them in the description. One of the simplest habits I've been practicing is every time I feel the urge to scroll, I reach for my journal or a book instead. Lately, I've been diving into a book on Chinese medicine, which is something I've wanted to learn about for so long. I think learning something new within a safe space is a really beautiful way of coming back to ourselves. If there's something you've been wanting to learn for a long time and to dive deeper into, just know that it is never too late to learn something new. It's never too late to start over. I always love to remind myself of that. And since I recently started studying hormonal health and herbalism, And since I also just in general have this really beautiful interest of holistic health, I've been wanting to dive into Chinese medicine for quite a while, but didn't really know where to start. And so I just started reading this really, really beautiful book that I'm actually loving. It's called Between Heaven and Earth, A Guide to Chinese Medicine. I feel like that thing you want to learn, like if it's out of your comfort zone, find yourself a good book about it. Find a beautiful spot in your local park or cuddle up at home. Create a beautiful space around it that makes you feel really motivated to learn, and then just allow yourself to dive deep and allow yourself to be a beginner, because we're all beginners at some point at like everything that we're gonna become really good at. We all have to start somewhere. I absolutely love this book. I have just started it, so I haven't read that many pages, but so far it's a really beautiful book, and I love that it gives kind of a historical perspective to Chinese medicine, and it's a really beautiful introduction to someone who grew up with a Western perspective. I think this book is a good teacher to me to begin with. And let me know if you've read it, or like if you have other recommendations on learning about Chinese medicines, books and podcasts and everything, because that is something I'm really looking into, and I love this more whole perspective of seeing the body as one shared ecosystem, as well as seeing humans in connection to the earth, because that is just something I am really trying to live by myself and to learn more about myself. It's also very much the perspective of my current education in hormonal health, not so much about finding the cure to a specific symptom, but more about finding the root of that symptom and also just creating the best starting points for ourselves when it comes to our health. This is why laying in the grass, reading a good book, just enjoying everything going on around me is like the most healthy thing to me that I could do right now, and it makes me feel so good in my body. Honestly, I was sitting here and I was just thinking to myself, like, wow, I could cry right now. Everything is so beautiful. This life is so precious, and seeing the way that people come to the park and share all these beautiful memories together in the sunlight, and just the way that the city really blooms in summer. It's an undescribable feeling, and I'm so grateful that I get to be here and that I get to experience this. And it truly reminds me that there is so much beauty in the mundane, and there's so many things that I can do in my everyday life that I can incorporate in order to actually live the life of my dreams. Because honestly, laying here right now is a dream life scenario for me. As I spoke about in one of my recent videos, about creating a dream life while living your dream life, which I also really recommend watching. It ended up being some really powerful tools that I'm sharing in that video. But anyways, I spoke about how it's not about where you're at when you like reach that goal. It's not about having a specific amount of money, a specific job, or for me, like a specific amount of followers. It's about the feeling that I will have when I have that success, and that feeling I can cultivate now, right now and here. If I can lay in the grass and I can just be in such awe of all the beauty there is around me, that is the dream, and that is the woman that I want to embody. That is the energy that I would want to step into every single day in my dream case scenario of being at a certain place in my career that would allow me to do these things. And so I've created an everyday life that actually allows me to do these things, and it really takes off the pressure of having to perform in a certain way or having to reach a certain goal, because I have this feeling inside that I'm just so happy and I'm so fulfilled, and everything around me feels so abundant. I'm so grateful. Cycle syncing is one of the most powerful ways that I have honored my nervous system and my hormones. And I feel like by now I can almost not make any video on like any meaningful topic without speaking about cycle syncing, because it is truly life-changing, and once you get into it, you will recognize what I'm talking about. For a starter, I recommend to get an overview of where you're at in your cycle and how you feel in each phase of your cycle. So just take notes and write like what you notice about your mood, about your energy, socializing, all those things. And then what I like to do is to divide my month into like really living in tune with each phase of my cycle. So in my follicular phase, I will generate lots of ideas. Like as a content creator, I'll film whenever I feel like it and I have like a boost of energy. I will go outside, just really enjoy myself and enjoy that I am tapping into like higher energy. Really just entering a new cycle and honoring that energy. And then when I move into ovulatory, this is when I will like act on those ideas and those plans that I've made during my follicular phase. So all of the content that I've planned that I want to film, I'm gonna really like tune into my confident self during ovulatory phase, and I'm gonna film lots of talking videos. Obviously, it's not always that I get to plan everything out in this way. Like right now I'm in my follicular phase and I love being on here. I love chatting to you in like every single phase of my cycle, but there is just something about having less expectations about having to create as much in my other phases. And then the end of my follicular, my ovulatory, and the beginning of my luteal phase, that is when I will actually make plans and know that there are things that I absolutely have to get done around filming content and around work, writing emails, all those things. And then the sooner that I get to my bleed, the more I will try and like end all of the things that I've started. So really just tie a knot on unfinished projects. So then when I am in my menstrual phase, I can just focus on resting, eating nourishing foods, drinking cacao, and cuddling up at home or laying in the sun with a good book, not having to worry about work, because the menstrual phase is really sacred to me, especially as someone who used to have really heavy menstrual cramps. Like, I don't want to push myself too hard. I know my limits and I'm gonna stick to those limits. Truly, what it's all about is that your body knows what it needs and it's gonna try and tell you. And the more that you learn about your biology and your hormonal cycles, the more you can actually tune into your intuition and really understand what your body is telling you and get to know that language. And that is such a beautiful thing, if you ask me. So take this as your sign to dive deeper. I have several videos on this already, several book recommendations in those videos. Like, there is lots of stuff to get started with. And let me know if you have like any specific questions. I would love to answer those and I would love to make more content around this. I've set a goal to write a poem every single day. This is an attempt to actively cultivate my creativity more, and also, you might not know, but I absolutely love writing. I've been writing for so many years, and I went to writing school as well, actually, and it's something that I'm really passionate about, but it's kind of a passion that I have not really nurtured that much. So I really want to honor that part of myself, and therefore I set this goal of writing a poem every single day in English to practice writing in English, because obviously English is not my mother tongue. So I really want to get better at having a poetic language in English that I feel resonates with like the message that I'm trying to tell. This is something that you can bring into your life in many different ways. Cultivating your creativity can look like so many different things. It can look like, yes, writing a poem, making a drawing, a painting, but it can also look like cooking or learning something new or dancing, reading. Like, there are so many ways of practicing your creativity. A lot of people ask me, like, but how do you know what you love? Like, how do you have so many hobbies and so many passion projects? Because yes, I truly do, and I always have had so many things that I'm passionate about. But I think it's just honestly about exploring things, not being so hard on yourself, and not really having to fit everything into a particular box of this is what creativity looks like, or I cannot do this if I'm not good enough at it. Start a ceramics class. Let yourself have fun with it and make something that looks brutally ugly, or like make a painting and have zero expectations towards yourself. Just allow yourself to create and tune into your inner child and like think about, is there something that you loved doing as a kid that you let go of and that you kind of forgot about, that you might actually want to dive into again and nurture again? I feel like that is a good place to start, actually. I am at the park and I really have to get over myself to film myself because there's a lot of people here. So that's good practice. But I absolutely love coming out here to reset my nervous system and to reset my energy whenever I feel like I am a little bit besides myself and not really in tune with my senses. Just going to the park and finding a little spot in the grass and just laying here and observing all there is around me is my absolute favorite thing to do. There's so much life in this park. There's like children playing all over and people doing picnics, people just hanging out, running, walking. My father and his son are climbing a tree and it makes me so happy, and the sun is out and suddenly all my worries are just gone. And just feeling the grass is like the best healing experience. And I'm laying here and I'm reading about herbs, studying a bit, and there's like no better place to study herbalism than outdoors. Even though I'm in the city and I don't really have the possibility to go and collect that many herbs here, I still feel a bit more connected to them when I lay in the grass. Even though it's in a park, it's still perfect to me in some way. And this summer I absolutely cannot wait to go and find some more herbs in the countryside though, and I'm definitely gonna make lots of teas and tinctures, and I'm gonna have lots of fun with it, so absolutely cannot wait for that. Till then, I'm just gonna ground myself in the city by going to the park. Now, let's talk nourishment beyond food. I think nourishment can often be spoken about as like, you have to eat this, you have to eat that, you have to work out in this way. So squeezed into a box that we actually forget nourishment is so much more. It is spending more time in the sunlight. It is giggling, being with your friends, loving, noticing the beauty in the small things, doing what feels good, what really, really nourishes your soul deeply. Something I try and do is to get in sunlight every single morning. So I will, before I do anything else, try and go outside and begin my day in a really slow and gentle way, allowing myself to wake naturally and just feel the sun on my skin and honor like my true biological hormonal rhythm, because it is so important. And Around cycle syncing, I actually also allow myself to sleep in for longer during the phases where I know I need more sleep. So this is my luteal phase and my menstrual phase. I will not set an alarm. I will sleep for as long as I want to. And I know not everyone is able to do this, but you can try and go to bed a little bit earlier during those phases, or at least you can try and keep track of if you feel more tired or more energized in different phases of your cycles, and just know when you need more sleep. In the morning, I will not look at my phone as the first thing if I can avoid it, which I can mostly. I will try and go outside before I even look at my phone. I will drink a glass of water and have some breakfast, do as many things as I can before looking at my phone. Let me invite you to get an alarm clock that is not your phone and put your phone in another room while you're sleeping, and just not look at your phone first thing in the morning and see what happens. Just see how this feels. The last thing that I want to mention quickly around nourishment is caffeine. A lot of us rely on coffee and caffeine. And actually, first of all, genetically, some people are more sensitive to caffeine than others. So I invite you to explore what feels right for you. Secondly, caffeine is not so good necessarily in all phases of our cycle. I would never drink caffeine in my menstrual phase, especially because I am personally quite sensitive to caffeine. But try that out, see how it works for you. Just try and pay more attention to how caffeine affects your life. And if you can, try and switch the coffee for a matcha or a green tea. So the thing is, green tea and matcha contain both caffeine and L-theanine. And what this does is it actually works against some of the negative effects of caffeine to have a more slow and balanced wave of energy throughout the day. That is why I absolutely love matcha and green tea, and my body does not react at all on these things in the same way that it does with coffee, because coffee, I cannot. And speaking a little bit about the food, also, something that we can do to keep our digestion moving smoothly is to take a deep breath before every meal. Say thanks for the food and take your time. Put away your screen. This is something I'm practicing as well, but like really be with that meal and allow that food to really truly nourish you without all of those distractions around your meals, because you deserve a proper break when you eat. You deserve to just let your body fully absorb everything that you're eating and enjoy it with pleasure. When speaking about nourishment, I cannot not mention being in nature. And it doesn't have to be some crazy big mountain that you have to go to. I mean, that is fantastic, but go to your local park. Go out in your garden if you have one. Do something where you feel surrounded by greenery and where you get to sit in the grass or just listen to the birds. Feel just a tiny bit closer to the earth. Sometimes it's a bit hard to go out in the public and be like, damn, the public is there too, but I just want to be on my own with Mother Earth. Like, can I not do that? And then I just put on headphones and I just enter my own sacred space, and it boosts my mood in the most beautiful way because I just see all the beauty around me in like the most amazing way when I'm listening to music that makes me happy and just makes me vibrate on a higher level. You don't need to do it all at once. You don't need to become someone you truly aren't. There is meaning to the place we're in right now, so start trusting that everything will unfold in its own time. Start making small shifts one at a time and nurture your inner garden in ways that feel true to you. Know that with every breath comes a chance for a new beginning. So trust your intuition to pull you in the right direction and let this be it. If this video resonated with you, I make content like this every single week, so don't forget to subscribe and like and comment which one of these things that you are gonna try out this week, because I would absolutely love to hear. And if you're curious about the medicinal mushrooms, you can find the link for them in the description to learn more and try them out. And I absolutely cannot wait to see you in my next video. Until then, I hope that you remember that you are so loved for all that you are and that you are enough. And your place in this world is just as important as everything else in this beautiful ecosystem that we get to be a part of.